This is Q with the Quintessential Gentleman with a personal favorite group of mine, the Temptations. Guys, I so appreciate you guys for being here today with us. I know you're in the middle of rehearsal, but today you celebrated the 60th anniversary album with your new release, The Temptations 60. Tell us about that.
Well, we felt as though being around 60 years is a milestone. So we wanted to do something special for them because, like I said, when we started out back in the late 50s, early 60s, we had no inclination that we still be around 60 years. We still having fun 60 years later. So I give it to God for letting us be around this long because, we're in a fickle business. That's for sure. I got guys that I can depend on.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, of course, Mr. Otis, we know that you've been in the group since day one. But Mr. Rod, next year you'll be celebrating 40 years in the group. Terry, you'll be celebrating 25 years in the group this year. What do you guys feel you brought to the legacy of the Temptations being in the group as long as you have?
Q, basically, I look at myself as a caretaker of this legacy. We are held responsible to bringing it into year 2020 and beyond, because it's still here 60 years later. But it's an absolute honor, and we absolutely respect this music, and we try and present it as authentic as possible, for sure.
And I'm glad to be riding Otis's dream. This is his dream. And we're thankful they took us in to ride part of his dream.
That's right.
Absolutely. Now, Temptation 60, you guys have some amazing songs. Now, I'm in Atlanta, so if you guys know anything about Atlanta traffic is just as bad as LA, but not as bad. So right. I got through 8 songs of the new album. So right. Some of the songs that kind of stood out to me, of course, When We Were Kings. That was an amazing record. So if you guys could tell us a little bit more about that record and why it was so important to put it on the 60th anniversary album.
Well, in all honesty, when I wake up, I thank God for letting me see the start of a new day. And it was an epiphany, because as soon as I thanked him for letting me wake up, it came to me, this 60th album, you should do a tribute to the Temptations. And that's how I best. And I called, I wanted Smokey to do it at first, but Smokey was sick. So I laid there and I said, okay, who would be good to pull this off? Nara, Michael Walker, because we worked with Nara before, and he had a huge hit on us with State. Now, when I called and told him to say, man, I sung a little bit of it for him. And I said, you got to put the 4-headed microphone in there, all the characteristics that made the Temptations who we are. He said, oh, man, that's a great idea. And I said, no, I don't want no synthetic bass on that. We have the great Larry Graham bass, So he got Larry and the track, and these guys, wonderful guys here, we pull it off, and it came out today, and we're getting very good reception, and people are just loving it. And we just hope to do well like all the rest of it. I'm proud of us now.
Absolutely. Now, Mr. Willie and Mr. Tony, this is for you. Now, you guys haven't been in the group as long, but you guys are still a part of the group. Like, what do you feel that you bring to the Temptations and the legacy of the Temptations? And why was it so important for you guys to join the group when you did?
Well, I bring my respect for the original Classic 5. They were my 5 heroes when I was growing up. And it's just a blessing to grow up. And Otis, I want to thank you for keeping the group long enough for me to join.
You did a great job, man.
Thank you.
He idolizes Melvin.
Melvin is my hero.
And he's singing that bass. I know he's thinking, Melvin, very proud of that.
I think, for me, the best thing I can bring to this group is the game. I'm being taught, I'm learning so much as being a part of this group. These veterans are absolutely amazing. I'm seeing what being a trendsetter is all about, not a trend follower. I see it firsthand. I get to see what longevity looks like. I get to see what legacy truly is. So I'm a student. That's what I'm bringing. I'm taking it all in. I'm grateful for it.
But he don't know, when we go to the airport, he gotta take everybody's bag.
Already in the
See, and you know what? And speaking of which, now you're talking about traveling and going to these different destinations via the airport. Now, Mr. Oak, when you guys started out, you know, it was station wagons punching it across America.
Man, let me tell you something.
Mhm.
We would have travel with 2 station wagons and a car. Yeah, we had our band in one station wagon and the crew in another station wagon, and the Chimps would ride in a Fleetwood, you know, and then eventually we started riding a bus, you know. So it's been an evolution of a lot of wonderful things. And, you know, people ask me about, well, how was it traveling and working during the 60s? I got some stories to tell about the 60s, you know, because we caught a lot of flack being black down south. Like I said, they called us every name except the child of God, but we continued on, you know, and here we are today, talking to you 60 years later. Wow.
60 years later. Now, for you, once again, being a part of the group for the last 60 years, what do you think motivated you to continue to go to get where you are today? Because you guys have had hits and albums in every decade for the last 60 years. What motivated you to continue on with the journey of the Temptations?
Well, I love what we do. Ever since I was about 14 years old, I tell people when I moved from Texarkana, Texas, my family moved to Detroit, and I was just beginning to become aware of rock and roll. And they would have rock and roll shows at the Fox Theater in Detroit. Like I've always said, the Fox Theater is the second largest indoor theater in America. Radio City is the largest. So 14 years old in a cabinets building like the Fox, and I saw 5 guys on stage: Cadillacs, Frank Lyman and the Teenagers, Royal Jokers, Jimmy Jones. I mean, a lot of heavyweights back then. But to see what 5 guys were doing now on stage, and the place had about 5,000 people in it, and me being 14 years old, I'm looking over my shoulder and saying, wow, they got that kind of power. These people are reacting like that. I said, that's what I want to do. Would you believe 7 years later, the Temptations were getting the same reception? So, yeah, so we ride the hell horse. We get off the horse, it's going to be ball. Right. Yep.
I'm sorry?
I just said, yep.
Now, what I want to know for each one of you guys, there are a lot of popular Temptation songs, but there are a lot of side B type songs on a lot of the albums that may not be as popular as the rest, but I know they still resonate with people who actually listen to the album. So what I want to know, what are some of the songs that you guys like absolutely love that may not be as popular as the others?
Well, for me, I would say, not because he's sitting here to my left, I love, from time to time, I go back and I listen to My Love Is True. And that's a beautiful written song, Ron Tyson, Victor Carstopper, and myself, we did it. But I take myself out of the equation. I would like it, if somebody else wrote it, I would still feel the same way. And of course, it's a great song, and Tyson came up with a nice melody, and we added the harmony and the talking at the end. So I'm a big Temptation fan. I mean, you don't want me to get started because I go on and on and on. I would have gobbled up my time. Somebody else got to talk.
I think Dream Come True is mine.
Oh, yeah.
Cause your dream come true. You're my dream come true. You're my
Dream come true.
and I love you better than anyone.
Oh.
Now, that was the first one that Barry Gordy wrote.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, as I'm writing it down because I'm going to listen to this as soon as we're done with this. Now, the rest of you, what are some of your favorite Temptation songs?
Who are you speaking to?
So, Ms. Terry, Willie, Tony.
Terry.
I think my favorite, if I say the way you do the things you do today, you ask me tomorrow, I got a different answer.
Yeah.
So it's just the entire, it's everything. Yes, everything. It's hard to pick just one.
Yeah.
The Mind. David Ruffin sang it. It's called You'll Lose a Precious Love. And the one that Eddie Kendrick sang, Please Return Your Love to Me.
I really like Silent Night.
Can't go wrong.
And How I Wish It Were Rain.
Yeah.
Those two really touched me. It hit me here. So.
But it's tough when you got so much material to choose from.
Yeah.
See, we never would imagine that My Girl, which is now considered a standard. Now, when we recorded My Girl in '64 and it was released in '65, we were at the Apollo Theater, and Barry sent us a congratulations telegram. The Beatles sent us a congratulations telegram. The Supremes. So we got a lot of wonderful telegrams from some heavyweight, pros. That song, when we recorded it, it really took like when Paul Reiser added the strings and horns. It was a great song, just, naked. But when Paul Reiser added Jean, I said, ooh, it is spread. And I said, Smokey, I don't know how big a record this is going to become. But here it is now. We sing a standard. And like I tell everybody, we better not go on stage and don't sing My Girl. Yeah, we did that one time. And like I said, they called us every name except the child of God.
Now, what I want to know, with so many songs in your catalog, how do you guys gain inspiration from other artists? Because you got so much to listen to from what you guys have recorded. Like, how do you listen to other artists and gain inspiration for, what it is you're gonna put out next?
Because we're competitors.
Absolutely.
So, we hear other people with certain songs out that they have released. And quite naturally, we're going to dig deep and try to find, we can come up with great songs to be, instant airplay and, hopefully well liked all over the world. So,
Q, the thing is, we don't, we listen to popular music and everything that's happening, but we don't get so far outside of ourselves that we're not viewed as attempts anymore. Because you got to keep that choreography and you got to keep that strong singing and those harmonies. Yeah. Absolutely. That's how just like Yes or No. Immediately, whose song that is when that intro.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I tried it in the car. I can't hit that boom boom. I can't hit it as deep as y'all, but I tried. Now, with like songs like Time for the People, thinking about, social justice and things that we're experiencing today, first of all, how important is it to put out songs like that? And how does it feel? Because you guys have sang and recorded songs in a similar vein, 60, 50 years ago, and we're still kind of, dealing with the same thing in our community. How important is our songs?
It's important for us to keep being who we are. Back in the '60s, we were recording a message from a black man and, a lot of those kind of protest songs. So Ron Tyson and our conductor came up with Time for the People. So it's in keeping what we are known for, and that's what gives this album diversity, because we are keeping, we got the pretty balance in the funk and all that. But, we got to let them know that we're still socially, aware of what's happening in this world and around us.
Right. That's right.
And it's time for the people.
Hey, time for the people.
Now, as far as the new album, it's 12 songs. What is each of you guys' favorite song on the album?
I got one right now. I got 3.
Here we
Time for the People. I Want It Right Now. And Calling Out Your Name, baby.
Okay.
There you go. It's hard for me to choose because, wow. I guess my favorite would be absolutely the first song you guys did.
Come on.
Oh,
Because I never heard it until we recorded it. I was like, wow.
That's the song I would pull Mr. Gordy.
That was the beginning.
That was the beginning.
What got you the deal?
That's what got me the deal. My group was Otis Williams and the Distance. We used to do record house. And we were on stage, and the crowd kept coming to stand. So the third time, as we went back and we were going to come on, enter Barry Gordon with Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. And they were big at the time. They had Shop Around and Bad Girl, a lot of hits then. And I'm saying, wow, that's Smokey and the Miracles. So when we finally came on, I'm standing there looking at Smokey and the Miracles, and Mr. Gordon said, I like the song you guys have up. Should you leave where y'all come see me? I'm starting my own record label. And that was 1961 when we signed with Motown Records.
That is amazing. I was having this conversation with my mother that I was going to be interviewing you guys. And I'm like, wow, Ma, they are celebrating 60 years in the game, just as you recently celebrated 60 years in life. Like, that is, like, you guys have been around for my mother's entire lifespan. It's
Great.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You're right.
That's paying fact.
It's plus tax.
Tell your mother we said hello.
Absolutely, I absolutely will. Now, I'm gonna tell you guys this. One of my favorite songs is, I would say it's probably my like top 5 is Some Enchanted Evening.
Yeah.
There is a line dance to that
That's right.
song. So my grandmother, like, she's a smooth, how does she now? 82. She's smooth 82-year-old lady. And when I tell you, like, that is her jam. And it's so funny because my grandmother always tells us we can't dance. You know, we're not smooth like her. We dance nowadays is nothing like she used to dance back in the day. But once the song comes on, and once, you know, she gets to swinging and rocking and moving, and you actually do it too, you know, that song let her know that we can actually dance. So because before that, my grandmother's like, no, you can't dance, baby. It's okay.
Well,
so
you know,
I thank you guys for allowing us to create memories based off of your songs.
That song was written by some heavyweights, but the reason we did that, and it was named after Terry's group that I had, For Lovers Only, and we met with Richard Perry when I produced the record, and we were going over songs, and I've always lived in the Evening. And the late great Ollie Wilson and Theo Peoples, which he's still alive, they sang the hell out of that song.
Yeah, they brought it.
And we did the voice, so we're very proud of that album because we didn't have to hire anybody to teach us the harmony. We did it ourselves, so that's one of my favorite songs.
That's on the playlist for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. So when people listen to Temptation 60, what do you want people to take away from this album?
That we still relevant to today. Keeping great songs, talking about what's happening in the world, you know, and put some sweet ballads in there for the ladies and some funk tunes in there, you know. So we stay very relevant to the game, you know, because we don't try to get too slick.
Right.
You know, when we go in the studio and we get too slick on certain parts, we say, no, fellas, let's KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Because that's what they remember.
Tim Sickers.
And we got something in there for the Caribbean people.
Oh, yeah. I want it right now.
Now that must be number 9, 10, 11, or 12, because I told you I didn't get that far yet, but I will tonight.
Number 10.
Right.
Number C, I was almost there.
Oh, it's coming.
Right.
So,
Okay.
you guys are in the rehearsal studio, so does that mean a new tour is coming? Will we see the Temptations in Atlanta soon?
Yeah,
we're coming your way.
17.
Yeah.
17.
It comes.
The 17th of
February.
And it's sold out.
Yeah.
oh no.
It ain't sold out to you.
Help me out with the luggage. I got you.
I was just about to say, if y'all need me to carry some luggage, if y'all need me to bring y'all a little water or something like that, I will be there. How can we make that happen?
Well, let me sing this young man's praises. Aside from the attempts of being, you know, going to Atlanta for since 61, 62, they're really coming out to see Tony because he used to be part of Charlie Perry's production movies and what have you. So when I heard they said, oh, they love the Temps. They come and see what Tony's in the tent. Oh, we don't believe he's in the tent. Yeah, so He's getting ready to get baptized in fire.
Yeah. And he's ready for it too. Tony's doing a great job.
Yeah, yeah.
We just started rehearsing with him this week, so he's doing real good.
Okay, okay. Now, when you guys think of the Temptations and the legacy of the Temptations, if you all could give me one word that defines the Temptations in your eyes.
Blessed.
That's a good one.
I agree with that.
We stay wholesome. You can bring your family, kids. You will not see us grabbing our crotches or bending over, showing butt juice. None of that.
But
Yeah, none of that.
Family friendly.
And I'm not knocking anybody because everybody's got to do what they have to do. But
yeah.
we keep it clean. Go ahead, Ty.
I look at the Temptations as music messengers, because we've been around for 60 years. We got older fan base, and we got a younger fan base.
From 8 to 80.
And so they always want to hear what the Temptations are singing about, because we always try to bring some kind of message to the people.
I'm gonna tell you something. How important the Temptations, even beyond my wildest dream. We're always getting fan mail, and when I tell this story about, I asked this young lady's fan mail, and she said, "Mr. William, thank you for calling. Let me get my mother." She went and got her mother. Her mother came on. She said, "Mr. William?" I said, "Yes." Before she said anything else, she said, "I asked God, don't take. I need to talk to her this week." She said it twice. I'm sitting on my bed crying. I've never been a ghost sitter. And when she ran down the importance of what we do and how it affected her, I said, wow. And after she got to telling me that, then she turned around and she said, "Now God, you can take it." Wow. I never would have imagined our music touch people like that.
Music messengers.
Yeah.
I'm going to use the word gifted, and I'm going to follow it with something. There's a scripture that says your gift will make room for you and bring you before great men. Well, those great men are all the fans that support this group and has done that from generation to generation to generation.
That's right.
That's it. He's a philosopher.
Right, brother.
Yeah, right.
You got them young brain cells that still working.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right.
Now, with having multiple people in the group, as far as the 5 of you guys, and having different personalities, how important is it for you guys to understand who each other is and get to know each other, so that you can continue on this journey to make not only great music, but to get along with each other?
That's a constant, right? Because we're all the human. And I've gotten so good that I can read a man's emotion. Really? I just that's right.
You know what I've got on my mind.
Yeah, so.
And I know him.
Yeah, so I know there's a time and place for everything, but we understand each other, right? And we back up when somebody don't feel like joking. Right. But I have 2 crazy guys in the group, Terry and Willie.
Yeah.
And we got 3 insane brothers with us. That makes 5.
When we come together,
Yeah.
it's temptation time.
Yeah, we all, one thing I do love about this group is we all have a sense of humor. We can laugh at ourselves and at each other.
That's what it takes for guys like us. We have to have a sense of humor. Look, I don't mean to say we ain't getting out to steal their life.
Nope.
So you better have fun with it. Have fun with it, because I never would imagine 60 years and I just turned 80. Yeah, and I'm still, a guy came to the put in the stage. I thought I turned 80 people stand up and give a nice round of applause. And this one guy came, he said, "You don't look 80. You don't move like 80. You know what?" I said, "What? You are an inspiration to a lot of folks."
Absolutely. Yes.
Definitely.
And see, one more thing, we not only love each other, we actually like each other too. Sometimes. Yeah. That makes it different.
Just have to tell you guys, for me, this is like a lifelong dream that I never even knew I had. When I watched the Temptations movie for those couple nights on NBC in 1998. I never knew that 24 years later, you know, I would be sitting here having a conversation with you guys. And FYI, that was my sister's Christmas gift to me in 98, 99. She actually got me the tape, the cassette of the movie. It's upstairs somewhere, so I gotta go get it. But I never knew that when I was doing the temptation steps in my parents' house and I was interrupting people because I was hitting those steps so hard, I never knew that I would be having this conversation with you guys today. So for me, you know, this is like a dream come true. I've interviewed so many people over my years, and this honestly is like by far the biggest one for me because it means so much to me. So I appreciate you guys for taking time out of your schedule. I appreciate you guys for continuing to put out great music and being such an inspirational group. And I thank you on behalf of everybody in America or in the world, I'm sorry, who can't thank you. I thank you guys for everything that you have brought to music, to our culture, to our, you know, memories that we've created with our families. I thank you guys for that, and I appreciate it.
You're welcome. We love
Tell
you.
your mother and
Thank you,
father,
young man.
thank you for producing a wonderful son.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And Atlanta, we coming.
Yeah, we coming. Stay out that trap.
All right, and I'm gonna figure out now how I can carry some of that luggage so I can be at that concert.
We'll talk to you.
All right.